Can Brian Burns top 16 and a half sacks in 2026? You taking the over or you taking the under? Because this kid was an absolute menace in 2025 with 16 and a half sacks. That's a lot, guys. That's getting after the quarterback a lot. But if he's going to have any chance to hit the over, three things got to happen. One, Giants' run defense has to be able to be better this season. Number two, new defense coordinator, Dennard Wilson's going to have to be very creative with how he uses Burns so he's not double teamed every single pass rush opportunity. And number three, it's all about staying healthy and him just being Spider-Man again, because you don't get 16 and a half sacks in a season by accident. It's clear that he is one of the best in the league at his position, but I feel like he doesn't get the national credit or spotlight that he deserves. 16 and a half sacks in New York with a dance or sack celebration. That deserves some sort of national commercial. State Farm, I don't know. 67 total tackles, 39 solo, a career high in sacks, 3 forced fumbles, and 7 passes defended in 17 regular season games. That was enough to earn him Pro Bowl honors and an All-Pro. But when your team goes 4-13, it's hard to be in that national spotlight. There's a couple things that make this dude so great coming off the edge, but one thing I really like and want to highlight is his elite first step explosion. You see how he's able to get off the ball and threaten offensive tackles outside shoulder with speed that forces them to overstep with their kick slide, and then that opens up the door for Burns to counter back inside. He's also a freak athlete as well, and he can bend the edge. 6'5" and athletic. He's built like a shooting guard. He looks like Mikal Bridges out there, but he has the ability to get flat and bend at the top of the rush without losing speed. That allows him to turn pressures into sacks. And not everybody can do that. Only the great ones can bend the edge like that. I'm talking TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, those type of dudes. But the biggest reason Brian Burns is so hard to block is because he has a full toolbox of pass rush moves, cross chops, ghost moves, swipe rips, long arm techniques, inside counters, spins. It just all depends on the tackle's set. He's not a one-trick pony. Here's where he's going to thrive in 2026. There were times last season when former defense coordinator Shane Bowen would move him around and to create one-on-ones, and I can see new DC Dennard Wilson being creative within his own scheme and doing the same thing. But overall, I think Dennard Wilson's defense fits Brian Burns perfectly. Here's why. Dennard Wilson said it himself. He loves being aggressive, attacking the football. His philosophy is built on creating negative plays instead of just simply trying to contain an offense. It's not a bend but don't break type defense. He wants to attack. So expect more simulated pressures, and that's going to help free up Brian Burns. Wilson disguises pressure by bringing linebackers and sometimes defensive backs, but he also will drop a defensive lineman into coverage. That's a way of creating and messing up an offensive line's count and protection scheme. Brian Burns is the headliner on this defense. He's going to get the double teams, so I'm anxious to see what Dennard Wilson cooks up to get Burns his true one-on-ones. But the biggest reason Brian Burns is going to eat in this defense is how Dennard Wilson wants coverage and pass rush to work together. He likes his corners to be physical at the line of scrimmage, and that's going to force quarterbacks to hopefully hold on to the football that one little extra half a second, and that's the exact window that Burns and crew needs to finish. He had the 11th highest individual pass rush win rate among edge defenders, and Abdul Carter led the team in quick generated pressures, but the ball was coming out of quarterbacks' hands very fast because corners were playing off the receivers. That's going to change this year because the scheme changes. So, will he finish with more than 16 and a half sacks? That's a yes if Abdul Carter and Kayvon Thibodeaux keep holding their own and dominating on the opposite side so offenses can't slide protect to Burns every single snap. If Dennard Wilson's pressure packages can manufacture more free rushers than Burns saw previously, and of course if Spider-Man is just Spider-Man, the confidence is already there. The man publicly set a goal of reaching 20 sacks, so 16 and a half, that ain't enough for him. But here's what could keep him under the 16 and a half. Look, that's a lot. That's a lot of sacks. So he's got to stay healthy and stay on the football field. If Shelby Harris and DJ Reader can't occupy the double teams Dexter Lawrence once commanded, that double team is needed so offenses can't dedicate a back to chip or a tight end help or even slide protections towards Brian Burns. But I think the biggest threat to him not getting that 16 and a half is the Giants' run defense. If they're bad again, he's got no shot. They got to stop the run to put offenses in more third and long situations. So, final thought, I think he doesn't need to be a 20-sack guy to dominate football games. If Denard Wilson uses him the way that I think he will, moving him around the formations, creating the one-on-ones, and dialing up some pressure packages, Burns has a legitimate shot to surpass that 16 and a half. I think he can hit the over. He's that talented of a pass rusher to do it. But the stat I'm watching isn't just sacks alone. It's the quarterback hits, the pressures, and forced fumbles. If those numbers continue to climb, the sacks are going to take care of themselves.